Alright guys, this is going to be the video for week 17, so we're getting pretty close to the end of the semester here. So what we have is we've got this week and then next week, and that's already finals week. So we're getting pretty close. So we're only going to have a couple more projects. We're going to do this hand project that I'm going to introduce right now, and I think one more kind of smaller assignment to get done, but there's a lot of you that are still missing a lot of stuff. So we need to, like, if you have any intent at all to pass this class and you're not passing right now, you have to start now. You can't wait until the last second and try to get it all done. You need to really put in some time now if you're behind on stuff. So hopefully maybe over Christmas break some of you did stuff, you just haven't turned it in yet. We'll see. But week 17, what we're doing here, if you guys remember back on week 16, we started the hand series. And so the idea with this was you're supposed to draw your hand from 3 different positions after reviewing the information on the hand proportions and looking at examples. So on that one, you drew your hand, palm side, knuckle side, and then a closed fist. So that was just to kind of learn proportions. Now what we're going to do is a project that is focused on the hand. And so what this is going to be, it's going to be a minimum of one hand either holding or interacting with an object. And so what you'd want to do is at home, you could, or at school or wherever, find something that's interesting to you, something that represents you. So an example could be, let's say you're a gamer, you could have your hand holding a video game controller. Maybe it's your hand holding your cell phone. Maybe it's your hand holding a paintbrush or something, right? So think of something that's important to you or that seems powerful to you that your hand could be doing. So the big requirement here is that it has to have a minimum of one hand. The hand has to be the focus of the project. So your drawing has to be cropped in on the hand. You can't just do you wouldn't want to do a full body portrait of somebody and a hand happens to be in the picture. It's the hand is the focus. And I'll show you some examples here in a second. And then I want it either holding or interacting with another object. 2 hands interacting with each other could count. So if you want to do 2 hands but not necessarily have an object, that's fine too. But this should be drawn large, cropped in, fully shaded. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the large size papers. So that's the 12 by 18 paper. And you can do it on white, black, or brown. So I think I did give you one big piece of brown paper if you wanted to do that for this project. In terms of the shading and coloring, I'm going to let you choose the tools you want to use. So if you do black or brown paper, you would have to use charcoal because those are the only ones that are going to look good on that type of paper for the most part. So if you do it on black paper, that means you'd be doing a white charcoal shading and you'd be shading the highlights. So it'd be kind of like doing the skull project, but you're doing it with the hand instead. If you like that style, you could do that. If you do the brown paper is like a medium ground. So what it is you have a medium tone or a medium value. And so you'd use a combination of white and black charcoal on this one. So you'd want to use white charcoal on the lightest highlights, black charcoal on the darkest shadows, and you kind of blend into that in between and then let the brown just be the middle value. Okay. Otherwise you could do white paper. If you do white paper, then you would open up either charcoal shading, pencil shading, or if you wanted to do something like color pencils, which I didn't provide that for you, so it's just be if you had that at home on your own. But it does need to show different values. So don't do marker and color it in solid or anything like that. It has to be something shaded with values. If say you have watercolor at home and you wanted to do a watercolor painting, I would be open to that. But the key thing here is it has to still look realistic and it has to have value in it. Okay? So as long as it has value, it's done on the large paper. You draw it large and realistic. I'm going to be happy. Okay. So I do have a slideshow that you can review. I'm not going to go through the whole slideshow with you guys here. Oh, I think I linked that incorrectly. My bad. I'll have to relink that. That should be linking directly to the slideshow. Oh, it did link correctly. And then you just click open link. Yeah, I did link that. But in this slideshow, it's just showing you examples of artists throughout history that have made hands maybe a focal point of an artwork. So these aren't necessarily examples of what you would do for the project. Could be for some of them. But just showing good realistic examples of hands interacting with other objects, things like that. Something you could do that's kind of fun with this is some of the artists do things that are a little bit more surreal. So if you want to do something that's kind of like fantasy like with the image. Like as long as I can see like the realistic hand, then you could do something else with it if you want to, where the hands are kind of turning into trees there. That's kind of an interesting one. You could do something where you pose. I think it's going to be like somewhere at the end here. Hold on. Um, you could do something where like you pose your hands like you're holding something, but then maybe you draw something else in it. So that could be like an idea of something surreal. It doesn't have to be something you could realistically hold in your hands, but it could be something like that. So this would be like a decent example of that, right? Here's another really cool example. A lot of value in there, right? So once again, including a minimum of one hand and an object, or it could just be two hands together. This would just be an example of a photo of an idea that you could use. So if you like your coffee in the morning, take a picture of yourself holding the coffee, but just make sure the hands are visible. You don't want the object completely covering up the hand because we want the hand to be the focal point. This is a really cute one that would count. So it's kind of the two hands interacting with each other. So once again, you wouldn't want to draw like the full body because then you kind of lose the idea of the hand. So notice how the drawing is really cropped in, or this is a photo, but this photo is really cropped in on the hands. That's the way you'd want to draw it. And you want to draw it large and fill the paper, right? So just something, a side note, some issues I found with some drawings that get turned in. I'll ask you to do it on the large paper. Some kids will draw it on the large paper, but they draw it super small and it doesn't fill the paper. The point of the paper size is to dictate how large you draw the image. So if you have that space, you need to fill the space. So that's why I'm having you draw it on large paper. Draw the hand very, very large. Some other examples here: hand holding a paper airplane, hand holding painting supplies, right? Things like that. So there's a lot of good examples in here. That can kind of help get you started. So that's something you can look at. These are some examples of student artworks that have been done. Okay, so this would be an example like right here. This would be like one on the brown paper. So you can see it's white and black charcoal to show tints and shades, and then the brown kind of stays as like a medium tone. Okay, so that's a good example there. And then just re-showing a couple of those there. But that brown one's a good example of showing you how you could use that brown paper if you wanted to do that one. Okay, so the idea is this is going to be a 1-week project. So I want this drawing done by the end of the week. So I have something else I want to give you for next week, and then we'll have finals week, and I won't give you an assignment finals week, but there will be a final test that you'll have to take. And a lot of you still have a lot of work to catch up on. So now's the time to get into gear and to get it done. So when you're done with this, you will turn it in, take a photo of it like you have been, turn it in there, and then complete the artist reflection. And I have this due on the 10th, so by Friday I would like this done. And then next week I'm going to give you another assignment. That's going to be a series of 4 small drawings looking at the face, and we're going to do that with the face, and then that'll lead us in the final. So just make sure you guys let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully once again, if you're behind, really start to grind and get that stuff done. And make sure you guys come and see me at school or email me. Just let me know if you're struggling with anything, okay?